We'll be talking about from vision to execution, challenges in operationalizing digital identity wallets, which is a big project all over the world. Europe has its own plans, and Gerd Peters, a product manager at Mobile ID of the company ZS. Gerd, welcome to the stage, and let's see what we have here on challenges of digital identity wallets, which includes a lot of things, as we know.
Good morning, everybody. Quick introduction about myself and the company I'm working for. I'm working for a company called ZS, which is in the business for 20 years in delivering solutions and services to allow governments to build a foundational identity for their citizens. Foundational identity is in fact something what was delivered in the past through a physical means, a passport, an ID card, and this is the type of work we did for the past years for multiple governments. It is our belief that things will evolve into a digital or a mobile identity, and I'm the product manager heading a team of to make this mission become true. Before I jump to the next one, I wanted to make a kind of a prediction. If you knew what you will be receiving, not this year Christmas, but next year Christmas under your Christmas tree, I can tell you now, next year we will be receiving what we call a digital identity wallet, which will be delivered to us by our governments under our Christmas tree. So next Christmas we will be onboarding using our digital identity wallet. This is the one that we will get for free, which will allow us to prove our identity, share our identity, both online and offline, but also share things like attestations. For instance, the fact that I am capable of driving, and we will be able to include this in our digital identity. And all this should be done in a way in which we as citizens keep full control over the data which is stored in this digital identity wallet. This is what we will be getting, not this Christmas, next Christmas, end of 2026, from our nice governments. The idea behind this is that by having a digital identity wallet, we will be able to do more cross-border transactions. It will boost innovation. It will bring us a lot of benefits, so that, for instance, by proving our identity online, we will be able to get an insurance from a country, for instance, from Portugal, or opening a bank account in Poland or whatever. This digital identity wallet will allow us to do this. How did we get there? And just quick recap on how we got there. Everything started back in 2014. It was the original eIDAS regulation, a regulation which was coming from the EU, and in which the need for an ID, a unified European ID scheme, and on the other one, trust services was established. And it was became fully operational by 2016, in which trust services and trust service providers were established and scattered throughout Europe. It all evolved, and the original idea was as well to boost the trust in the transactions throughout Europe. But everything didn't work that well, and unfortunately by 2020 and just before, we were hit by something which was called COVID, and suddenly everybody turned or had a vaccination certificate in his mobile device, and it was our own president of the EU at that moment who stated, okay, we will allow, or we will bring a digital identity to our European citizens, which was then translated in the initial proposal, which we called eIDAS 2, so the continuation of the original eIDAS, which took another 3 years at that moment, with a lot of lobbying, a lot of discussions internally in Europe, to become eventually voted in front of the European Parliament by 2024. So last year it was voted, it came in force, and at that moment the Europe started drafting the implementing acts. The implementing acts are in fact the technical ways in how such a digital identity wallet should be established, and at that moment they started drafting it. All by all, which means that by the end of 2026, we eventually will be able to get our digital identity wallet from our government, which we will be able to use. And it is something that member states are mandatory to deliver to their citizens, and for which by then there should be also a mandatory use, meaning that you would be able to use your digital identity wallet using, for instance, to log on to your government. And by the end of 2027, there should be a widely usage of the wallet, meaning that companies, private companies should allow or should accept the usage of this digital identity wallet to, for instance, log on to your bank environment or bank account. So this is how the roadmap evolves and how things look like. There's a few challenges in establishing this. So there are nice projections of where we need to get to, but there's a few challenges. And the first one is we're racing against the clock. As today, I did calculate it, we only are 434 days before our deadline, which is the 31st of December 2026. It might seem a lot of time, but there are some challenges linked to this deadline. First of all, I told you, the drafting of the implementing acts are still being drafted, and as we speak, they are still being drafted. So there are still evolutions into it. We're still waiting for the third batch of implementing acts to arrive, meaning that we need to deliver something while we're still discussing on how to build it. So that means that we are moving, we're almost hitting a moving target, because we don't know exactly how it should look like, but still need to be ready. And secondly, we are already on the critical path to deliver it. I'm just naming a few things. A wallet needs to be highly secured, so the secure element into it. People are still debating on how to deliver it. Should it be an eSIM? Should it be a remote component? All those kind of things are still under discussion, while we still need to hit the deadline of the end of 2026. Another thing which is happening as well is about the wallet accreditation. You know that in order to deliver you the wallet, it needs to be certified by an assessment body. And in order to have it, the assessment body needs to be present. They need to be trained, meaning that before we will even get there, we are already on the critical path to achieve this deadline. The other important thing is there is the promise versus the reality. One of the elements which was stated in this IDES 2 Act was the fact that our digital identity wallet needs to be free of charge. And free of charge, my father told me there's no such thing as a free of charge. Always somebody pays for it. So free of charge doesn't exist. And on top of that, in our digital identity wallet, we have the opportunity to include signing capabilities. So our digital identity wallet will allow us also to sign elements. This means that there's a lot of things which need to be delivered, and there is in fact no real business plan behind how to deliver this. And currently what we see is that the full burden comes from the member states. Member states need to build a digital identity wallet, need to provide funding for the entire app. And by the way, a digital identity wallet is much more than the app itself. There's an entire system behind which needs to deliver elements like a PIT, which is your identity, attestations, public attestations like your driving license. It needs to foresee electronic infrastructure, electronic signing infrastructure. It needs to accommodate for certifications, for security. So all those kind of things the member states need to deliver. And on top of this, which is may be a bit odd, but it is also very uncommon for member states to provide this. This needs to be a highly operational demands, meaning that, for instance, myself as a citizen, I can decide to obtain my digital identity wallet in the middle of the night on a Saturday and getting it. So meaning that the systems need to be operational 24/7 with high availability. Everything needs to be established as such. On top of that, there is still also a high transactional demand, because people don't realize, but having a digital identity wallet and attestations need to be refreshed on a very frequent basis, meaning that there will be a high demand in terms of transactions coming to the backbone that governments need to set up. All by all, it means that there is a bit of an unclarity of how the business model behind the digital identity wallet would look like. One of the elements as well is the qualified attestations, and the question is, will private companies, QTSPs, step into the game to provide also qualified attestations? But the question will be, who will pay for it? Will it be the issuer? Will it be the consumer of it? And how will this money transaction will look like? Nobody knows, and it has been not established. And what we currently see is that there is no real benefits, in fact, for our government. It needs to be provided. It is obligated, it is a regulation, but the true benefits are for sure coming from the private sector, financial sectors. We will be able to pay with our digital identity wallet, and the know your customer has. So for those services that we need to identify you as a customer, and the identity wallet is the ideal means to do so. And finally, one of the challenges we have, and this is then to name the elephant in the room, what about the budget? And there's only, when looking at it, there are only two member states who openly disclosed their budget, which is Germany, who, by the way, they assigned €500 million to deliver the digital identity wallet. There's also the Netherlands, who on their means, they have 57 million that they assigned to it. And I did a bit of a calculation, and I translated it back to the investment per citizens they have. And what we see is a bit of an odd situation, because it seems that Germans, although there are much more citizens there, they assign a higher budget per citizens than Holland is doing. So we got a bit of an uneven situation. And if I would translate this back to the Baltic states, you see that there is this kind of budget that they would need to account for if they follow the example of the Netherlands and Germany. But even said, like I said, it is a bit of a strange thing in which you have a kind, Germany having more citizens assigns more value or more budget to it. But we would expect that there is a kind of a digressive way of assigning budgets to it, so that even smaller member states should account for a higher budget when calculating and implementing the digital identity wallet. And on top of that, we all understand that assigning budget in times in which we are needing our budget, as governments need their budget for other things which are threatening us as well, that this is a very difficult element to discuss. So there's a lot of challenges, a lot of things happening. There's still, and I want to close on a positive note. There's a few good positive initiatives going on as well. There is the so-called large-scale pilots. Large-scale pilots are funded initiatives from the EU in which the digital identity wallet is tested in real world use cases and how that will behave. And the good thing is that we're now going into the second phase. As of October 2025, there will be a new large-scale pilot initiative which will be launched. There's also good news. Europe is funding a reference implementation. A reference implementation is, in fact, the part which is coming from Europe and which can so-called be copied and used by a member state, so they are delivering this, but it doesn't account, of course, for certain operational aspects. It doesn't account for country-specific aspects. So there's still a lot of work which needs to be put in place. And finally, companies like the one I'm working for are stepping in as well. They come with offering end-to-end solutions or partial end-to-end solutions, which will for sure help member states in controlling the budget and achieving the timelines which are still opened. And finally, I want to end with a personal message and one which is coming from something when I was still some younger than today. When going to tops of the mountains, we need to know that we will go through deep valleys, but on the other end, there are a number of things which I used to say: be well prepared, make sure that you have the right equipment, and finally make sure you get the good guidance to get to the top. So, thank you, and
Thank you, Gert. Thank you.